Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a kind of quiet bandless discussion review. I had to keep my voice down just a little bit. My wife's asleep in the other room, but I woke up and couldn't fall back asleep, and so we're going to talk about the ban list. I have not seen anything about it, so I haven't also been able to find like the Bandai webpage, so we're going to find the image that we're going to use for it, and yeah, so let me go ahead and open that up and we can talk about it. And here we are. This list is effective from September 1st, so we have about a little bit over a week until we get to start playing with this new ban list. And let's go ahead and get into it. First off, they're banning Sayo & Co. This makes perfect sense. I think that this card has so many turn skips around it, and just banning the card before you have to worry about every turn skip and pair banning it with everything makes total sense to me. It does kind of suck because like I have this in my Grace Nova list, and so I am just going to have to like remove that. I'm just gonna have to change my Galaxy deck to a more Galaxy Toolbox deck because the Grace Nova package is all but gone. So like, but it's the lesser of two evils. I get it. And next we have Chaosmon Voldrarm being Pan-Bear, which I wasn't expecting. It's either with BT17 Talmon or EX8 Sakuyamon X Antibody. I think this makes a lot of sense. Sakuya X into Voldrarm was always like 4 checks that you really couldn't do anything about, that your opponent was able to do super consistently, and it always felt really bad, like really bad. Just getting smacked for 4 and then having no on plays to follow up with is just detrimental. And also your opponent was getting plus memory for it because they're usually digivolving off of like or digivolving for 2 off of a scramble, and then if it's Sakuya and Sakuya X, it is just a free evolution, so they're always able to keep turn because Sakuya on X has no way to blitz, making it really, really strong that way. It is interesting, though, that Talmon is also included in that in case you're not playing Sakuya X. So you just can't play, like, regular stuff with it. That feels a little bit weird, but I suppose it is future-proofing, and I don't hate that idea, so I'm not going to complain too much. All right. And now let's get into the restricted cards. There's quite a few here that I wasn't expecting them to hit, but there's some good stuff in here, and some stuff I was right about, and some stuff I was very wrong about. First off, we have Gravity Crush and Parabolic Junk. Gravity Crush makes absolute sense. That card should have been hit. There's no reason that card should be around with how powerful it is. And they're also doing the correct thing, I think, in hitting Parabolic Junk. I had said in my prediction video, I don't think this card's going to do anything. But you can never be too safe, especially with a card that just says 0 cost, possibly gain up to 2 memory. Like, it's just waiting for the right deck to abuse it, like with all of the other free memory gain cards that we've seen to this point. So hitting it before it becomes a problem is a really good idea. Next up is the things you're hitting from Guilmon, which I'm kind of surprised about. So they're actually hitting Guilmon, we're hitting Rush Guilmon, and they're hitting EX3 Growlmon, which is kind of surprising to me. I suppose that if you want to keep the Guilmon X package alive and still allow decks like Gallantmon to play it, that you do hit non-X variants of those cards, because the X variants are incredibly powerful and they do help a lot. And I suppose if you restrict Guilmon, the Rush Guilmon, to 1 copy, it does prevent your opponent from like building up a ton of resources afterwards to be able to kill you. But I don't know if this addresses the core issue of being able to reswarm the board, because that's what Growlmon X does. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. I think that this is a good hit, and we will just have to see how Megadramon can't kill you out of nowhere. It can't kill you from like 5 security now. Like, that's just a given. So we'll just have to see just what the decks are up to now, and if it's enough, because it could genuinely be enough. Like, it could be enough that you just say, no, you don't get a rush 4 times in a single turn now. You can only do it maybe once if you find your one of. So we'll have to see. The EX3 Growlmon is kind of shocking to me. Most lists that I had seen, and I haven't looked at a Megadramon or like a Geelbird's list in a long time, they were only on 1, usually, from what I remember. So hitting this to 1 is very strange. Again, I could be very wrong, but that was what my intention was, or my understanding was. And it's like, when digivolving, pop a 3K, pop the Floodgate, and then mill 2 cards was pretty good. And then obviously the Inherited is really powerful to give an additional Sec +1. And so I suppose the argument would be that if you're going down on Guilmon, Rush Guilmons, you do want aggressive pieces. And so being able to like play a rookie and then sacrifice her for Sec +1 to get like 3 checks with the Megadramon or something is really strong. They probably just don't want you to be able to do that as well. So that's probably why they're hitting this out of a precaution thing. So I don't hate that. Next up is the saddest card on this list for me. They're hitting Garuda X. This card did everything for birds. This card is so, so good. And I know why they're hitting it for Guilmon X Crimes, but I'm so sad. This card was so... Like, I remember this card being announced for BT16 and just thinking to myself, this card is going to do absolutely everything. And it did. And everything that I've ever done with birds, like with loops and shit, has always been on the back of this card. But that is also on the back of loops and shit. Like, I shouldn't be able to loop 3 Garuda Aces into Garuda X's in a single turn. So I understand why they're hitting it, but, like, Birds was such a niche deck before that it was fine, but now since we're finding out that other engines could be splashed into it really reliably, that it's not necessary anymore to keep this card around, and I'm so bummed. But this is a fine hit. I understand. The other deck's getting hit on here. It makes sense, and so... we're just going to have to eat it, bird fans. We're just going to have to eat it up. Or we're just going to have to eat that, take that, hold that L, etc., etc. Next up is Digievolution plugin. I know that this card was falling out of favor, but getting rid of the free evolution up to a level 6 is really good. Wait. Sorry, I'm reading it again for the first... Oh, yeah, it's 3 or less cost. I was like, I know you could not do, like, all evolutions with it, but... Next up, we have Digievolution plugin S. This makes sense. I had known for a while that people were going on less copies of this overall just to find their more combo-oriented pieces in Sakuyamon, but if they're getting rid of the pair band, if they're giving a pair band with Chaos Folder as well as Sakuya or Talmon, I think this one makes sense. I think that only having access to one of these is really good. It still swings the game in your favor. Most people are on 2 anyway. This is like a very solid hit because without Valder Arm, I'm sure that people are going to go back to just like Sakuyamon tokens and stuff. And they wanted to make sure that like the Digievolution plugin wasn't going to be a problem in the future. Speaking of Sakuyamon, your boy was right for had a one not gimme correct, but the other gimme was incorrect, which is crazy. But they are hitting the BT19 Sakuyamon. I already kind of talked about it yesterday in my prediction video, but the idea of being able to just get a bunch of extra value, like Digivolving Draw 2 is really strong, and then using a 5 cost or lower option, and then before that option resolves, or whenever that option resolves, getting a token out of it that has blocker. It's just so much good value, and so hitting the card to 1 makes perfect sense. I have no other qualms with this card. I think this is a perfect card. And speaking of Raven being right, we're going right to the Royal Knights of the Purge. This card, I think being hit makes a ton of sense. I talked about it again, yesterday in my last video that was only up for like 12 hours before this ban list. But the idea, of course, being that you can load up stuff really, really quickly. You can play things. You can get extra chip. Like they're making more and more cards that only don't care about having on plays, and they're making more and more cards that really just want to be played, like seeing themselves or seeing other Digimon be played. I think that I have no qualms with that. I think this card is the exact card they needed to hit, and they did. And so I'm excited to see Royal Knights still being able to do something. And last up, we have EX1 Melga, which is kind of surprising. This card is primarily and only really played in Gas or Gabumon or Garurumon Alter S. This card is really powerful. It is a when Digivolving gain 1 for every 4 in your hand, so it's like a self Mirage Galgamon. And so this card coupled with the Gabumon engine of just being able to just like climb up to your bodies really quickly, go into Garurumon, and then go into an Alter S, and then play out a Garurumon later that has it on play or something is really powerful. I'm trying to read what the one attacking effect is because I doubt it comes up. Yeah, it just like it bounces an on deletion effect. Yeah, you're just using it to gain an extra memory, and with Gas, you just get so much card advantage that you're gaining like 4 to 5 memory, and so hitting this card makes sense. Like I don't know how else to describe it, but this card being a 1 is probably healthy for the game. You don't really need it to be. You don't need to be able to have a card that gives you 4 memory consistently, multiple times in a single game. Things that I wish they would have done. I wish they would have unrestricted things. We're going to be hearing more and stuff about like more people wanting the Greymon X unhit. I would really have loved to seen Sunrise Buster come back. I think it could probably be fine. But I also understand that we are about to hit a new tournament series, especially here in the States. I have Dallas in a calendar month, right? Or a little bit less. And so now I have to start actually thinking about what my deck list is going to be for that. And that's going to be weird. I think this ban list is good. I am kind of shocked that they went with the Rush Geel and the EX3 Growlmon instead of Rush Geel if they wanted to hit a Geelmon and the Growlmon X. But I am interested to see if this does slow down the engine enough to keep it fair and then allow Geelmon, Gallant, Megadramon, whatever enjoyers to still be able to play with a good level 4X antibody. And then also hitting gas is good, but I am still, of course, worried about Alter S version. But it is way, way too early to hit the Alter S version in any meaningful way. The biggest thing about it, of course, being with the CS engine and the CS engine having just come out is really good. And you also can't hit Alter S yet because Alter S just came out. I think it's I'm worried about it being best deck in format, but we'll just have to see. They hit Sakuya and they hit Royal Knights in a meaningful way that doesn't cripple them, but it does slow them down a bit. They hit Sakuyamon a lot more on this list, obviously, and I think part of that is with Amethyst Mandala coming out in December. We're getting new cards for it, and I think that it's in its current iteration, you know, just kind of spell slinging is really cool, but it also is a deck that's playing like 8 rookies and 4 champs, and they probably don't want that to be like one of the better decks, so I get it. Let me know what you think about this ban list in the comments below. I'm excited to start figuring out what I'm going to play in Dallas. There's my first thing I'm going to start with is Alter S. I think that is the perfect place for me to start to try to play something, which feels kind of like a cop out. You know, I should probably only play the best deck, and I'm going to play the one, of course, that feels right to me. But I played a little bit of Alter S, and it made sense in my brain. And the only problem I had is it kind of bricked, but I'm not sure the other options that I want to play right now. I'll have to see what other people are coming up with deck list wise. I also might just play Royal Knights. You know, Royal Knights of the Purge only being the only hit for Royal Knights is still really good for Royal Knights. They kind of got unscathed otherwise. And that's what I kind of enjoy about this ban list. They hit a lot of the cards that made the engines extremely powerful, but still kept them intact. A Growlmon X hit would have completely neutered any deck that was a Gallantmon or a Megadramon deck, but they let it stay alive, which is really good. The only one I would argue is kind of dead right now is Sakuyamon, but again, they're adding more Sakuyamon support in December, and they don't want that deck to just be running around until then, so they went ahead and banned it just a little bit early. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say. I'm excited to play with the new cards. And yeah. Overall, like a solid 7.5 to an 8 out of 10 on this ban list. Cool. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy Saturday. And I will see you all in the future. Take it easy. Have a good one. Bye-bye.